Reuters-Schedule. Here are the top stories and upcoming coverage plans for Reuters text service as of 6 a.m. SGT, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. For a full schedule of news and events, go to our editorial calendar on Reuters Connect or on Media Express. Hamas releases. 2 Israeli women, U.S. advises caution on Gaza invasion. Gaza, Washington, October 23. Reuters. The armed wing of the Palestinian Hamas militant group said on Monday it had released 2 Israeli women on health grounds as sources said the United States had advised Israel to hold off on a ground assault in the Gaza Strip. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than Republican search for new U.S. House leader returns to square one. Washington, October 23. Reuters. Republicans, whose party infighting has paralyzed the U.S. House of Representatives for 3 weeks, will begin again on Monday to try to pick a new speaker to lead the chamber and address funding needs. For Israel, Ukraine and the federal government, U.S. court challenges Trump appeal in rape accuser E. Jean Carroll's case. New York, October 23. Reuters. A federal appeals court on Monday questioned why former U.S. President Donald Trump waited more than 3 years to claim that he deserved absolute immunity from a defamation lawsuit by writer E. Jean Carroll for denying that he raped her. White House says Iran, actively facilitating some attacks on U.S. military bases. Washington, October 23. Reuters. The White House on Monday said Iran was in some cases actively facilitating rocket and drone attacks by Iranian-backed proxy groups on U.S. military bases in Iraq and Syria, and President Biden has directed the Department of Defense to brace for more and respond appropriately. Chevron to buy Hess for $53 billion in latest oil mega merger. Houston, October 23. Reuters. Chevron has agreed to buy Hess for $53 billion in stock to gain a bigger U.S. oil footprint and a stake in rival ExxonMobil's massive Guyana discoveries, the latest in a series of blockbuster U.S. oil combinations. UAW expands strike against Stellantis, hitting pickup truck plant. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than Washington, Detroit, October 23. The United Auto Workers, UAW, union went on strike at Chrysler parent Stellantis's largest assembly plant on Monday, hitting the automaker's profitable Ram 1500 pickup truck production in a major expansion of the more than month-old strike. Rock collected by Apollo 17 astronaut in 1972 reveals moon's age. Washington, October 23. Reuters. During the Apollo 17 mission in 1972, the last time people walked on the moon, U.S. astronauts Harrison Schmitt and Eugene Cernan collected about 243 pounds, 110.4 kilograms, of soil and rock samples that were returned to Earth for further study. Book. Critical of Ming Emperor recalled after prompting online comparisons with Xi Beijing, October 23. Reuters. A reprint of a book attributing the end of the Ming dynasty 400 years ago to the ineptitude of a Chinese emperor was pulled from shelves last week, in an apparent purge of a title that had drawn now censored online comparisons with President Xi Jinping. DAZN, Sky retain Italian Serie A rights in $4.8 billion deal. DAZN and Sky will keep the rights to screen live Serie A matches in Italy for the next 5 seasons after Italian clubs on Monday approved bids worth at least €4.5 billion, $4.8 billion, league officials said. Top order fire Afghanistan to famous win against Pakistan. Chennai, India, October 23. Reuters. Afghanistan pulled off their second giant killing act of the ongoing 50-over World Cup with a memorable 8-wicket victory against 1992 champions Pakistan on Monday. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives meet on Monday to discuss possible new candidates to lead them as Speaker, after the narrow and fractious majority rejected their first 2 nominees. The House has been leaderless and unable to conduct business since October 3. Hong Kong policy address. Expected to stimulate flagging property market. Hong Kong leader John Lee delivers his annual policy address on Wednesday, where the focus is expected to be on the property market and easing stamp duties to try to revive the listless market. HK's property market, one of the most expensive in the world, has fallen over the past year along with China's own slowing real estate market, as well as an exodus of capital and residents after the imposition of a national security law in Hong Kong. Curtain raiser to run a day before the address. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol will make a trip to Qatar for a summit with Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than China's top legislature concludes 4-day meeting. China's top parliamentary body, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, will conclude a 4-day meeting, during which it has deliberated bills including the bill on the proposal to authorize the early release of some new local government debt quotas. It will also review appointments and removal of cabinet officials. U.S. House Republicans aim for party vote on new leader. Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives meet on Tuesday, October 24, to try to unite behind a nominee to lead them as Speaker, after the narrow and fractious majority rejected their first two nominees. The House has been leaderless and unable to conduct business since October 3. Colombian President Gustavo Petro to visit China. Colombian President Gustavo Petro will visit China from October 24 to 26, at the invitation of his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. France's Macron visits Israel amid Israel-Palestinian conflict. French President Emmanuel Macron visits Israel, as fears that the Israel-Hamas war could mushroom into a wider Middle East conflict rise. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than Taiwan presidential candidate Ko Wen-je speaks to foreign media. Taiwan third-party presidential candidate Ko Wen-je speaks to foreign media. Malaysia Science Minister holds press conference on Linus. Malaysia's Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Chong Lee Kong holds press conference on Australian rare earth miner Linus. Polish opposition party leaders make statement on forming new government. The leaders of Poland's three mainstream pro-European Union opposition parties make a statement saying they are ready to form a coalition government. Swedish Prime Minister Kristersson meets NATO Chief Stoltenberg. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson meets NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg and hold joint news conference. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than UN Security Council to hold quarterly open debate on the Middle East. UN Security Council to hold quarterly open debate on the Middle East. Several foreign ministers expected to attend. Unclear if the 15-member council will vote on a U.S.-drafted resolution on the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than alpine skiing. Michaela Schifrin has no intention of slowing down despite having cementing her status as the greatest of all time with her historic 87th World Cup win in March. Michaela Schifrin told Reuters she has no intention of taking her foot off the gas when the new alpine ski season kicks off next week. Colombia officials, Ecopetrol CEO attend oil conference in Cartagena. Colombian Energy Minister Andrés Camacho, Ecopetrol CEO Ricardo Roa, the president of the National Hydrocarbons Agency, Defense Minister Ivan Velasquez and the heads of private oil and gas companies will attend an annual forum in Cartagena. Quest Diagnostics is set to report its third-quarter results on Tuesday before markets open. Investors will be focusing on the company's quarterly sales and full-year outlook. Vietnam tech giant FPT holds press conference on deals. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than Vietnam's tech firm FPT holds a press conference on Monday to announce its partnership with Landing AI and other tech companies. Barclays reports third-quarter earnings, with attention focused on how the lender is navigating a deal-making lull and tough economic conditions for business and consumer borrowers. German-Ukraine Business Forum to take place in Berlin. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal open Ukraine-German Business Forum. Economy Minister Robert Habeck and Ukrainian counterpart Yulia Severydenko also attending. Ukrainian President Zelensky expected to join via video link. Health insurer Centene is set to report third-quarter results before markets open on Tuesday. Investors will look out for quarterly performance amid the company's recent efforts to lower costs, and any change in its annual profit forecast amid major revenue loss from the fall in Medicaid memberships. Danaher is expected to report its third-quarter earnings on Tuesday. Investor focus is expected to be on the impact of biotech funding crunch and soft demand in China. General Motors to report THRD quarter results amid UAW strike. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than General Motors is scheduled to report third-quarter results amid a U.S. strike by the United Auto Workers Union that has cost it millions of dollars. Coca-Cola is likely to report a jump in quarterly sales as demand for its sugary sodas and beverages show no signs of easing despite multiple rounds of price increases. The company's forecasts, comments on a potential impact from weight loss drugs and plans for further pricing will be on top of investors' minds. Global grains trader Archer Daniels Midland County will release third-quarter results after raising full-year earnings guidance in July following a strong first half. Investors will look out for updates on oilseed processing and ethanol margins that have supported the agribusiness sector, and whether grain shipping delays due to low river conditions in the U.S. could impact ADM's crop exports. HCA Healthcare to report Q3 earnings. HCA Healthcare is scheduled to report its third quarter earnings on Tuesday. Investor focus is expected to be on the hospital operator's management commentary about volume of procedures post-pandemic and staff shortages. Mexico's National Statistics Agency publishes data on consumer price changes in the first half of the month. Economists polled by Reuters forecast annual inflation to hit 4.39%, down from 4.45% at the end of September. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Corning will report third quarter results. Investors will look for demand indicators for the smartphone market. GE is expected to report lower quarterly profit. The focus will be on the supply chain challenges at its aerospace business and the pace of recovery at its renewables unit. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Verizon Communications is expected to report third quarter results on Tuesday. Investors will focus on wireless subscriber growth at the carrier as it faces tough competition in the telecom industry. Philadelphia Federal Reserve Bank issues monthly non-manufacturing business outlook survey. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia issues non-manufacturing business outlook survey for October. 3 MCO is expected to post a fall in third quarter profit hurt by weakness in its electronics and consumer segments and litigation costs. Investors will be looking for comments on litigation costs in its healthcare business spin-off. Kimberly-Clark is expected to post a rise in third quarter revenue on strong demand for its personal and home care goods such as Kleenex tissues, even as inflation squeezes household demand. Like its fellow consumer goods companies, Kimberly-Clark's pricing actions will be in focus as supply chain woes ease. Ukraine's Zelensky addresses Crimea platform in Prague. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky gives an online video address to the second summit of the Crimea platform held in Prague and attended by Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala and the Ukrainian parliament head, among others. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Malaysian PM Anwar attends solidarity gathering for Palestinians. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim attends a solidarity gathering to show support for Palestinians in Kuala Lumpur, amid escalating conflict between Israel and Hamas.